until he settled on the branch of a tree. "Good day, my dear friend," said the fox, putting on his best behaviour. "You look so beautiful today. Your feathers are glossy and your eyes shine like jewels. Surely you have an excellent voice as well. Oh, if only I could hear you sing." These words were like fresh water, satisfying the crow's thirst for praise. So he lifted his head with pride and set out to offer a song in honour of his charming friend. Of course, the moment he opened his beak, the piece of cheese fell. The fox snapped it up before it hit the ground and ran away, while the crow's not so pleasant voice filled the air. That was the first story. Here is the second story. A man well known for his wisdom took his son to a beautiful garden to pray and to meditate. Many others have gathered there for the same purpose. The fragrance of the flowers, the soft whispering of the breeze, and the quiet murmur of a stream created the sense of peace. The father and son sat in the shade of a tree. The boy, following his father's example, closed his eyes and filled his mind with spiritual thoughts. But after some time, he became tired. He lost his focus and began to look around, first at the flowers, and the birds, and then at the people. To his surprise, he saw that more than half of them were asleep. The boy thought about this. All these people have come here to pray. They all think they are devoted and religious, but they are not praying. They are just pretending. This bothered him, so he kept thinking about it. And then another thought came to him, a most dangerous thought indeed. He turned to his father and asked, "Are we not better than those who are sleeping instead of praying?" The father remained silent for a while and then replied, "We might have been, had you not asked that question." That concludes the second story. The third story. A king went riding through the countryside to observe the condition of his people. Passing by a field, he noticed a very old man. Although weak and obviously in great pain, he was working hard planting date trees. The king stopped his horse and asked, "Old man, what are you doing? Surely at your age you should be resting at home, enjoying the loving attention of your children." "O great king," answered the old man, "I cannot rest yet. I must finish planting these trees." "How long will it be before they produce fruit for your pleasure?" inquired the king. "These trees will not see fruit for at least 20 years, was the answer. "What is your haste then?" surely you will not live to eat the fruits of the trees you are so diligently planting, observed the king. You are correct, my master, replied the old man. However, my forefathers planted trees, whose fruits I have enjoyed all my life. It is now my duty to plant for the benefit of the next generation. The king was so pleased by this answer that he gave the man a gold coin. I thank you, great king, said the man, smiling. Just planting the trees was reward enough for me. But now these trees have already borne fruit. This coin is worth more than what the first harvest would bring. That was the third story. I shall read 2 more to you before you head off to sleep tonight. Here we go. A nest high on a magnificent mountain contained a few large eagle eggs. One day, a strong wind shook the nest, and an egg rolled down the mountainside, coming to rest on a farm. The resident chickens felt they should care for such a gift from heaven, so they asked an old hen to sit on it for a while. She agreed. This was not the most comfortable thing the hen had ever done, but her care and the heat from her body worked. The egg finally hatched, and an eagle was born. An egg cannot be born. Unfortunately for the eagle, he was raised to be a chicken, a rather unusual chicken, but a chicken nonetheless. And the saddest part of all was that he believed he was nothing more than a chicken. Yet his spirit longed for something else. Every now and again, especially on bright sunny mornings, he would look up and see eagles in the sky. How he wished that he could fly like those birds. But whenever he mentioned this to the chickens, they would make fun of him and cackle. A chicken who wants to fly. Then, one day, an eagle, probably his own brother or sister, flew low over the farm and called out to him, "Why are you down there and not up here, flying with us?" "I'm a chicken," he answered. "I can't fly." "Of course you can fly," the eagle responded. "You're an eagle, like me. Look at your wings. Are those the wings of a chicken?" "But I can't fly," was his unhappy reply. "Yes, you can. Do as I am." And so, with some hesitation, our eagle spread his mighty wings for the first time. To his surprise, he soon found himself soaring in the skies. I shall read you the last story. Mouse was trembling. Almost everything frightened him. Almost everything was bigger than he was. Not only was Mouse small, but he also felt small and insignificant. Lion was not afraid of anything. He was strong and fierce, convinced that nothing could harm him. He walked around full of confidence, and he seemed to be amused that little animals were frightened of him. That is why when we saw Mouse gathering seeds in the shadow of a small tree, he decided to strike. His big paw came down on Mouse and trapped him. Mouse trembled. "Oh, great one, don't eat me," he said in fear. "Why not?" asked the Lion. "Surely that is all you are good for." "But I am so small that I cannot be of any use to you as a meal," said Mouse. "Let me go, and I will be your friend forever." "A friend?" said Lion. "Of what use is your friendship to me?" He roared with laughter. "You make me laugh. It is good to laugh. For that, I will let you go this time." A few days later, while walking proudly through his territory, Lion noticed that several traps had been laid out by hunters. "Foolish hunters," he thought to himself. "They think they can catch me." He walked carefully and avoided every one of the traps. Every one, that is, but a nest or a net hanging in a tree. "Ah!" roared the Lion as the net crashed down on him. He struggled to free himself, but no matter how hard he tried, he could not. Mouse, hearing all the noise, went over to find out what was happening. When he saw Lion caught in the net, he approached and said, "O great one, I have come to help you." "It is not a good laugh I need now," said Lion, "but strength and force." Mouse did not allow himself to be discouraged. He went to work. Thread by thread, he chewed through the ropes until there was a hole in the net, and Lion was free. Lion learned a good lesson that day, and he was noble enough to admit it. "I have misjudged you, my little friend," he said. "Your friendship turned out to be more valuable than all my power and strength." And that concludes tonight's bedtime.